Torching can add a touch of creativity and uniqueness to various concrete projects. Making some concrete countertops? Torching concrete countertops can create beautiful patterns and color variations. It's especially effective when you want to highlight the natural aggregate or create a marbled effect. Gently heating the surface will reveal that beautiful aggregate, adding depth to your countertops. The projects I use a torch the most on are outdoor patios and walkways. Patios and walkways benefit from torching. By selectively heating the surface, you can enhance the appearance of the exposed stones or pebbles. The torching process adds texture and visual interest to your outdoor concrete surface. If you're working on decorative concrete walls or panels, torching can be an excellent technique. Create unique patterns, swirls, or gradients by applying heat selectively to the cured concrete surface. Torches are great to use on garden stepping stones. Torching the surface of your garden stepping stones will reveal the aggregate, which will create beautiful color variants. The torching effect adds character to these functional yet decorative elements. For artistic concrete sculptures, torching can be used to create texture, depth, and visual appeal. Experiment with different torching techniques to achieve the desired artistic effect. Torching is a great technique to use on concrete fire pits and fireplaces. The heat-resistant concrete surface can be torched to enhance its appearance and create a rustic or aged look. Torch the exterior of concrete planters or vases to add character and uniqueness. The torching process can mimic weathered stone or create interesting patterns. If you're making custom concrete tiles for flooring or wall cladding, consider torching them. The torching effect can be subtle or bold, depending on your design preferences. Torching requires practice and experimentation. Start with small projects to get a feel for how the concrete reacts to heat. Whether you're aiming for a natural, rustic appearance or an artistic finish, torching can elevate your concrete creations. When torching, it's important to prevent surface damage. Ensure that the concrete surface is clean and free of debris. Remove loose particles, dust, and any other contaminants. Repair any cracks or imperfections before torching. Use a propane torch, one with a diffuser nozzle or a flame spreader, to distribute heat evenly. Always maintain a safe distance between the torch flame and the concrete surface. Start with about 6 inches and adjust as needed. Avoid holding the torch too close, especially when working on delicate or decorative areas. Move the torch slowly and evenly across the surface. Avoid concentrating heat in one spot for too long. Use a back and forth motion to distribute the heat uniformly. Always be cognizant of the concrete's color change. As it heats up, it may darken or become glossy. If you notice any signs of overheating, immediately move the torch away from that area. Before torching the entire surface, test on a small, inconspicuous area. Observe how the concrete reacts. Adjust your techniques based on the test results. Keep the torch moving to prevent scorch marks. If you accidentally scorch an area, use a wire brush to remove the damaged layer. After torching, allow the concrete to cool gradually. Abrupt cooling can cause cracks. Avoid exposing the hot concrete to cold water or sudden temperature changes. If you're torching after applying a sealer, follow the manufacturer's guidelines for sealing and curing. Some sealers require heat for proper curing, but excessive heat can affect the performance. Always make sure to protect the surrounding areas. Cover nearby surfaces or objects with fire-resistant materials to prevent accidental damage. Always keep a fire extinguisher nearby in case of an emergency. And always make sure you and everyone on the crew knows how to properly use that fire extinguisher. Practice and patience are essential to gain confidence in your torching technique. Failing to properly prepare the concrete surface can affect the final outcome. Ensure the concrete is fully cured, clean, and free of any loose debris before torching. Consistent heat distribution is critical. If you focus too much on one area, it can create uneven effects. Move the torch smoothly across the entire surface. After torching, apply a concrete sealer to protect the surface and enhance its appearance. Skipping this step can leave the concrete vulnerable to damage and weathering. As I mentioned earlier, the most common mistake when it comes to using a torch is accidentally scorching the concrete. So make sure you're staying vigilant and just have a nice steady back and forth motion with that torch. If you or someone on your crew accidentally scorches the concrete, there's steps you can take to make it right. So don't panic. Start with a wire brush, hit it with the wire brush. Most of the time, that'll be enough to do it. If not a wire brush, you could take a Zec wheel to it and just lightly hit it with a Zec wheel. But it's always good to have safe practices. The majority of the time when we have to use a torch is on a commercial account when we can only work at night and we have a certain amount of time to get the job done. So after we grind, vacuum, and then pressure wash to make sure the substrate is as clean as it can possibly be, instead of waiting a whole nother night, getting an Airbnb, spending money, people tracking in oils from the road, throwing their gum on the substrate that we just cleaned all night the night before. The torch solves all those problems. Right after we're done pressure washing, we just hit it with the torch, and now the substrate's good to be sprayed. We do a spray texture and then top it off with a tinted sealer. So all in all, having a torch is a great tool to keep in all your trailers. It comes in handy all the time, and you never know when you're gonna need one.